Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, welcome back, everybody. What are you thinking about? What's on your mind right now? What's going on in your life? Take a second and process that, because maybe what's happening in your life is a direct result of what you're thinking and what you have been thinking. And I want to also add to that, what's happening in your life, good or bad, could be coming from the thoughts you have. We're going to look at that today. She feels that attention equals power. I'm on that train. We're going to dig deep into this and potentially change your life. I think some aha moments, some realizations, and that's by way of a wonderful spiritual advisor and life coach. And I've learned a lot from her in the time that we've gotten together. Sara Regester, Directions for Wellness, joins us back again today. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here and diving into our topic.
I love this topic because I believe it's pretty much everything. And I'm still a student of manifestation, working on it, need to work better at it. I always say I'm going to make a vision board. I have yet to. I start, never finish, things like that. But certainly what we think, it's believed by many, many, and some say proven by science, becomes your reality. It's almost like what your parents used to say, be careful what you ask for. Because
Exactly.
that's what you get. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a big topic to explore, in the sense that as I say it, attention equals power, because where your attention goes is what grows. And so if we're focused on the negative, the half empty cup versus the half full cup, it's like if you think about the worst case scenario in the future that might happen, that, it's like you're forecasting where you're going to go. And so it gets back to that mindful awareness of paying attention of what we're thinking, so that we can actually be more consistent in our follow through and completion of the vision board or whatever the project is. It's important to think about where your focus is, and not, it's normal to be distracted and to get kind of internal dialogue going, but it's always important to bring it back to the focus of what matters.
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being everything you think of is the direction you're going to head in. Would you say that's a 10?
I would say it's a 10. Just think of a time in your life when you thought, wouldn't it be nice if I had X? Or wouldn't it be great if this thing happened? And then lo and behold, it presents in your life. And you think, gosh, I was just thinking about that.
Yes. Now let's reverse engineer it. What do you say to people who say, I am thinking it, it's not here, it hasn't shown up? Or others who say, I can't believe what happened. This is just, it's just catastrophic. How did this even happen? Did they think that somewhere along the way feed into that situation?
Potentially.
Hmm.
And it's almost like getting back to your expression, be careful what you pray for, or be careful what you ask for, because you never really know how universe will present it.
Hmm.
But in truth, universe, whatever your faith practice is, always says yes. So if you say, and you have to be careful how you articulate it. If you say, I hope I don't flunk this test, versus I hope I pass this test, it's something that universe says, okay, don't, flunk the test, because that's what universe will say yes to. So
Hmm.
it's almost that internal language in how you're sculpting it. But there's also a bigger piece of internal healing about your self-acceptance, self-worth, self-deservement, of, what are the other ways that you're sabotaging where your attention is. And so there's
Hmm.
probably more going on, that you think you're focused on something, but there's also other focus that is sabotaging what that desire is.
I hope I don't flunk this test. So, using those words,
Uh-huh.
is this what's going on? You say that, and it comes from a good place. You want to pass, but you use the words, I hope I don't flunk this test. Your subconscious hears flunk this test, flunk this test. So it wants to support you. It's kind of dumb. But it wants to support you. So it's hearing flunk this test. So it's going to do everything within you to help you flunk this test. Is that kind of what's going on here?
Yes, because your attention and your focus is on the fear of failure.
You're okay. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Wow. I've I've reset myself with language as much as I can, and it's a work in progress. This one, most of us use. Let's say you're going to go to a new restaurant. Can't You're looking forward to it. Many of us say, "I can't wait to go to that restaurant. I can't wait to go to that restaurant." Well, you're coming from a place of negativity. You have to wait to go and all of that, as opposed to saying, "I'm looking forward to going to that restaurant." Is it similar? What we're talking about there, those little things that we throw, it's almost like we throw roadblocks in our way. It comes from a good place, but we're derailing by the language that we use.
Yes, and there's also expectations, judgment, attachments, the whole other
Mm,
energy that's going on behind that, what you're looking forward to, what you expect it to look like, what you think it's going to be, what it needs to be to meet your expectations. And so often that's sort of the what's at play in the background that can sabotage that heart's desire.
what if, now maybe this is crossing the bridge further over to manifestation, but what if you want that perfect person to show up in your life? Maybe, yeah, relationship ended a while back and now it's time. And you've done what you think is the work on manifesting the right person. Maybe you've been even intentional. You write down what the qualities of this person is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hasn't happened. Been a while. You think it's reasonable, no matter, I've joined groups, I've done this, I've done that. You would think that this person would present, or at least somebody close to this person, and it hasn't happened. But you are thinking it. Back to our point, be careful what you ask for. What would
Mhm.
you say to somebody in a situation like that?
I would say part of it is learning to trust in the timing and again, letting go of expectations and attachment. That is the practice right there, is being in trust and being in the now of what you do have, not focusing on what you lack. So there's still something.
Mm,
Attention equals power, that you're keeping it away from you, whatever, say it's a partner, that there's something about the internal dialogue that might still be putting conditions. It has to be this person, this way, under these circumstances. And so it's like creating such a narrow channel
mm,
that you're not really keeping your options open for what possibly could happen.
right. In your mind.
Limiting. It's a limiting belief that's holding
Yes.
you back.
And it could be even those finite details that you're limiting your probability of success. Let's say it's got to be somebody that has blonde hair, blue eyes. That's my type. Blah 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 blah. Well, is it really your type? You think it is. The universe knows what's best for you, and
Mhm.
certainly to your point, the time frame. It's all on universe time, not yours. So
Mhm.
got to be patient, but also there's probably something that you've got in your subconscious, something floating out there that's holding it back, and you might not even realize it.
Definitely. And so that's where you really want to pay attention to your, you want to be definite with the infinite. And so there's something about being unwavering in your trust and faith that you are moving towards what it is you desire. And so it's important to live your life in the now as if you already have what you desire. And again, how important it is to focus on what you already do have in regards to happiness, fulfillment, pleasure in your life, living your life fully, and not just waiting, thinking life won't happen until this person comes. Well, guess what? You're not going to be
Mm.
in the stream of life because you're waiting, waiting, waiting. My life, I'll be happy when this person comes. My life will be different when this person comes. And how important it is to be true to yourself. It gets back to thine own self be true. That here's the biggest, like your soulmate is actually that inner man, inner woman within you. And any outer relationships you have are merely a physical reflection of what's inside of you already in your own internal bonding. And that's a kind of unusual concept, perhaps. But sometimes people think their soulmate is someone outside of them, but it's actually not. You already have it. You just have to tap into that internal male female balance within yourself.
Microscope coming out. We're going to put it on that
I
one.
realized we just went stage left.
Yes, but I love the territory that we've jumped into here. And because it goes back to many of the things that we hear that you need to love yourself before you can really love others. And the soulmate thing, it's let's go with the inner soulmate. So that's where it all begins. Give us another view of what we are to ourselves in terms of the soulmate. It's already there. That's what I'm getting from you. You found your soulmate. You.
Yes.
um,
Your internal soulmate, it's within you, is that person that's already your opposite gender, and they are very in the present moment, very solution oriented, very sensual and strong, kind of like a warrior energy. That is the alignment of what your potential is when you're fully aligned with who you are, with that self-worth, self-acceptance, self-love. And I have to say, as a human experience, that's probably one of the biggest lessons for all of us is that self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance. It's always an important jump to
mm,
trust that, to get out of our own way. Again, attention equals power is like the more you have that self-worth, self-acceptance, self-love, that trusting that you're perfect right where you are on this journey of learning how to be better, mastering being a human being. We weren't born perfect. We were born with free will. We've made good choices, not so good choices, and along the way, this is how we learn. We learn from our mistakes and our not so great choices. And it gets back to partners. This is an important piece. Think how many relationships you've had that came and went, but what you gain from that individual in terms of the reflection of life lessons. Like, you did something together, whether it was a great relationship or not a great relationship, that you've taught each other something, and you leave that relationship different, perhaps better, wiser, more mature as a human being.
so I want to look at, and by the way, I think it was Jerry Maguire where he said, "You complete me."
Mm-hmm.
No, 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 bad, bad. That's bad. It should be you compliment me because we complete ourselves. Nobody knows
Yes.
you better than you do. Nobody will take care of you better than you. Nobody will bring you joy better than you can bring yourself. But very much to your point, I think we forget that and we look for it in outside sources. Perfect,
Mm-hmm.
partner, jobs, things will be better when I get a new job. Things will be better. Don't look at it
Yes.
that way. So I want to focus, if it's even possible, on the people, the relationships we choose in our lives based on who we are. I don't know if that makes sense, but how do we how do we make those decisions of who's going to be in our life? Because ultimately it's coming from within.
Yes, and there's something about the choice. I mean, you feel an attraction. There's a magnetic attraction, alignment, cohesion, as you start to make a union with someone and you start to share life together and you are mirror reflections for each other. And so the degree that you can be co-empowered in terms of the equal listening, supporting, challenging of each other and not like dominating, going to the dark side of giving away your power and where some of us have been in relationships, put my hand up here. On that journey of learning co-empowerment is often why we come together in relationship. And there's a piece here that you shared that's really important that you are the expert of your life. And so this is where coaching
Hmm.
is essential. It's not counseling, it's not therapy. So when people come and talk to me about their relationships, we work on you who's sitting right in front of me because I'm the expert of the change process and the transformation. But you are the expert of your life in terms of where you want to go, how fast you want to go, what you're willing to do to transform. And so, what I have found in my coaching practice that amazes me is I'll be coaching someone with relationship problems. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, they need a marriage counselor, they need couples counseling. And I stay on that track of keeping it focused on you, the coaching partner. And it's amazing that when we do our internal work, when we truly turn the microscope inward and do our own healing, find what that heart's desire is, own our value, whatever that transformation of healing will bring, that's when the relationships get stronger. Whether it's the current relationship gets better or the new relationship comes in. And it's the same with the job. If you keep leaving relationship to relationship looking for the better one and you bring your same pattern into the new relationship, guess what you're
Sure.
going to do? And
Yeah.
the job, rinse and repeat. You take this job isn't what I want. This is so this people are like that. It's a toxic environment. Wherever people are going complaining about their job, they get a new job, bring their pattern and their way of being into the new job, they're going to bring in the same scenario until they figure out how to take responsibility for themselves to show up differently in their life.
Mm.
So, I
And
mean,
it's
it's,
it's classic. You know, how many times somebody, let's say a woman, has said, I don't know what, Sarah, I don't know what's going on. I keep finding this. Aren't there any nice men out there? I keep finding the same ones. You know, yeah, they're deadbeats. They're just there's no emotion. I don't know what's going because you asked for it. Because you haven't done the work within. And I even look at in my life and relationships along the way, and I even go back, and this is gonna be sophomoric when I say it, but it's like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking at that time? Like, why did that show up? Why was I okay with that? And it could be in any type of relationship. I'm even looking at one now where it's a friendship, um, and I view the person differently than when I first met them. I saw them in a different light, but now 3 years later, it's like not really what I thought they were. It's all good, and and maybe I've progressed in my journey, and they just are different to me now. But I like to analyze those kind of things. I know we're going deep here, but maybe it's a secret to figuring us out when you start kind of putting the pieces together, over a period of time.
yeah. Well, I think too, what happens, whether it's an intimate relationship or a friendship,
Hmm.
the more we do our internal work, our personal growth, we make change, we can outgrow relationships. And what's important about personal growth is that everyone has their own natural pace, their own speed of self growth and development. That some people barely scoot, barely move, but they're going to be changing. Some are going to take a hop and hop and hop. Some people are going to like pew over into the abyss, into the unknown, and like just go for it. And so we have to respect each other's kind of pace of growth. And within relationships, we might outpace each other. That one of us has made these huge leaps, and suddenly we're really not feeling that alignment or that cohesion with that other person, whether it's a friendship or a partner.
Mm.
And so we have to respect that. We've gotten what we needed at that time. that were
Sure.
the reflections and the engagements, and now we're ready for something new. And so we have to trust that ever evolving person that we are, to know that we're always going to be kind of throughout our lifetime, people are going to come and go, and they're all going to be touching us in some way to reflect who we are through our engagement with them.
I've
And that's,
often heard it's every 5 years. And now that's, can vary, but it's every 5 years we do a reassessment, whether it's intentional or not, of where you are, what you're doing, what you're feeling. Um, and I've heard the term the 7 year itch.
mhm.
That comes from 2 years of deciding what you're going to do. So a lot of times in relationships, you've had that, close, intimate relationships, marriage, whatever. The 5 year comes up, and then two years to act on it. And I'll be honest with you, I thought that was kind of crazy when I heard that.
Mhm.
And then I started tracking back my life, and every 7 years, give or take a little bit, there was some pinnacle moments. Coincidence, maybe, but I don't know. It's a little too coincidental there within the 7 years. What are your
Well,
thoughts on the 5 year evaluation?
yeah. Well, it actually in the lineage I work with, it's every 3 years we go through a new circle of life experience, which is another conversation. But in terms of the
Hmm.
5 year, 7 year itch, what's important to recognize is that how long do we stay in that comfort zone where things aren't really the way we want them, but we settle? And the greatest fear people have is of loss. And if I lose this relationship, I'm afraid I won't have any. This relationship is better than no relationship.
Yep.
And so there's something about that settling, compromising, not pulling the trigger on making the change because you're in the comfort zone, the devil you know, and you can really talk to yourself of like, well, I'm very loyal and this person is really in there with me, and all the reasons that we stay when actually the shelf life is finished and you're ready for something that's different.
Hmm.
And so being willing to step out of the comfort zone of the devil we know is often like where we need a catalyst kind of energy to get us to say, okay, this is it. I'm out of here, or however we do it. You got to work into it, I think, sometimes because you had a history together, and it's been a shared life together, and so to unwrap that, often can be a process that needs time versus just, done and gone.
We're just about out of time.
Oh,
A final question here. Do you truly believe that if we hold on to those things, call them relationships, whatever the relationship is, if you hold on to something that you know doesn't support you, that you are just blocking what should be coming into your life?
mhm. That's the perfect opportunity to do your self work, self healing, self love, self acceptance, self worth. You deserve something more. You desire something more. What will it take for you to actually own it, that you're willing to bring in what you desire?
Gotcha. And just reflecting back on, you said the 3 year mark.
Mhm.
I feel, personal opinion here, I said 5 years is like kind of a baseline for all, and then the 7 year itch, whatever. I feel that once you start doing the work on yourself, it is 3 years because
Mhm.
you're evolving way faster.
It is.
Yeah.
And within that, you have certain 9 month cycles that's like a surge of change energy that you can ride that wave and really make some big leaps in the certain every 3 years window.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
cool once you start understanding this stuff and then start applying it to your life. But you can't do it alone. You need somebody to walk that journey, like you said, within coaching, to bring these things to light. Best way to find you, Sarah? How we do that?
Yes, Directions for Wellness is my website. And on that book, you'll see my book, stuttering. You'll see my free ebook, How to Grow from Your Stress. I was trying to get that out. And then, of course, my book is on Amazon, Audible. It's The Courage to Shine, How to Feel Confident Outside Your Comfort Zone. And I'd love to meet any of you on directionsforwellness.com.
I love the title. Courage to Shine is fantastic in itself. But the subtitle, How to Feel Confident Outside of Your Comfort Zone, that's everything. That is like the secret to life. Here it is. There you go.
Exactly.
Because those changes aren't going to easily come unless you feel comfort and get outside of your comfort zone. But we want to feel that we're okay being there. Again, you can't do it alone. Thank you so much for being here today. I know we got a little deep here, but
Oh, yeah.
for good reason. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yep. And we'll catch up next time. Thanks again.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.